So good evening all. So we today are going to start with our first session um in the clinical research about introduction to the observational studies. So today we have got with us Dr. Shri Haran. He is a dedicated PharmD graduate with strong academic foundation in pharmacology, clinical research methodology, and biostat. He has completed his PharmD from Arumig Kalasingam College of Pharmacy. He has got experience as an intern at Government Medical College at Tamil Nadu. Then he has also worked as a clinical pharmacist, and he is also part of the HCL Tech, which is where he is working as PMS analyst. Today he will be talking about clinical research and how observational clinical trials are done and how they are designed. So over to you, Dr. Sriharan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your introduction. Hi, good evening, all. Today we are going to see about observational study design. The observational study design is one of the important studies in clinical research. It is also one of the another type in clinical research. Another type in clinical research. We are going to see comprehensive guide of lot of things in observational study. Today, the agenda of this observational study is we are going to look onto the fundamental. What are the fundamentals in observational study and how the design helps for our researchers and advanced application related to decentralized trial from ICH GCP, ICH GCP, and also we going to look on the what are the practical consideration while doing research while doing observational study. What are the things we should be take as a practical things? Why this design is matter means a good blueprint is very important. Likewise, the good blueprint lead to the good design and good research study. So far, along the study design is very important for the while doing research. So it is like a basement, like like a basement. In this basement, we are going to see about our study should be under the quality of evidence. It should be under the high evidence manner. Should not be lack of evidence. There is no things lack of evidence like that. And reliability of finding. The reliability of finding is should be like solid design. Our design should be solid, which will also when other doing research, which also similar to our research, the answer should become under similar. So reliability and consistency main important in study design. And clinical applicability. Our study design should be real world scenery. It's also should applicable. Likewise, we want to do the study design and resource allocation. We should plan a correct resource allocation because the waste resource allocation lead to a wrong result and the improper result. So the resource allocation is very important. Time, budget, people. These are the resource allocation. This is the evidence hierarchy. Evidence hierarchy, like hierarchy is nothing but ranking. How the quality of the evidence should be ranked from 1 to 5. Here the first one is systematic review and second one RCT, followed by 3 to 5 is observational study design, cohort studies and case control study design and cross-sectional study design. Here the observational study why is very useful and crucial means when we do not applicable with RCT or systematic review, we go with cohort study, a case control study, and cross-sectional study as other choice. Why I'm saying means if you're doing a study on research on smoking cause cancer means we cannot do it in a RCT. Why I'm saying means if RCT is like two groups, one experimental group, in another one is a placebo control group. We cannot force the people to smoke. That is unethical. So something that is not possible in RCT and systemic review. We other hand of choice is observational study that look on to the 3 to 4, 3, 4, 5. Next, here the part of fundamental. First we say the first agenda. What is observational study? The observational study is nothing but it is one of the type of the study in clinical research. The research study is divided into two types. One is observational study and another one is research study. In observational study, the name itself we know, we will only observe the patient. There's no intervention takes place. There's no control group. That we don't want to assign anything to anyone. We naturally taking the patient. We are naturally taking the patient and asking them and we giving the result. It's like a real world scenery, like day to day life scenery. It not should be a strict environmental, strict to follow rules. That will be not applied in the observational study. Here the difference between observational study and experimental study. Previously I am saying tell about the experimental. Observational study and it is naturally occurring. We will observe the patient where naturally occurring exposed. There is no like RCT, like fundamental rules to be followed. These kind of the things are take strict environment should be followed. Likewise, no, naturally observe the patient. Why means in experimental study they should be assigned this group to assign to this experimental drug. This group is assigned to this placebo drug. They assign. Here there is no assassination. Observe naturally. No intervention. Likewise, here there should be intervention. The intervention is a control group. But one of the major drawback in observational study is confounding. It's prone to confounding. We will detailedly see upcoming slide. And randomization study in clinical experimental study, it reduces the bias. That is the difference between these observations and the experimental study. When observational study is signed, it should be ethically constrained. Likewise, I before say smoking on cancer, we cannot do in RCT. So the random observational studies takes place in there. Rare outcome. Rare outcome also. When we do in rare outcome, RCT means the patient requirement we cannot attain. Because of the rare outcome, the people requirement also low. So we go with observational study also. It's cost efficient and also time management also. Long latency. We go to observational study. Long latency I'm saying means if the cancer dementia patient means cannot appear in immediately the another day. It take time. Example, Hiroshima radiation attack. It cannot come cancer next day itself. It take time. So long latency period. Observational study is one of the choice. And real world effectiveness. We are taking the patient from the real world, day to day life. Next, the limitation. Firstly, I'm saying that limitation, the confounding is a major limitation. The confounding is nothing but hidden variable, hidden risk factor. That is confounding. We will be detailedly we see. Information bias in observational study. Where observational study, sometimes the miscommunication, misinformation takes place. Sometimes the patient himself say wrong information. They should be forgot. So the systematic error takes place in information bias. Selection bias. Sometimes we select the patient because of our result should be favorable of ours. So we select the patient from the result of our favoritism. And reverse causality. We do not know who come first, expose come first or outcome first come first. We don't know. We simply will look on it the outcome and expose. Likewise, we don't know which will arise first. We don't know in observational study. Key observation. The observational study design with three large design study. One is cohort study and case control study and cross-section study. We will look on to following slide. Cohort study. Cohort is a word like a marching of soldier in Latin word. Likewise, cohort study is defined as it start with expose followed by observe outcome. In example, I'm saying when we doing a smoking cause cancer means we dividing into two groups, dividing the people exposed and unexposed. Then exposed groups have risk factor. The exposed is a risk factor. The risk factor is smoking. Unexposed group is free from the risk. Observe the patient from the time quality of time we are observing patient. And after observation, we are come to the result. That is the cohort study. It also like mimic to RCT, but without intervention it takes place. And it also tell the cause effect relationship also established. And it also used for multiple outcome. While we studying cohort study, we get multiple outcome. Smoking cause cancer, other later outcome also we get it. This is the cohort study flow. First of all, the first most thing is selection of population. We want to select the population, whether the patient exposed or unexposed. We want to select the population. After selecting, classifying them, and follow the people over time, observe and measure the outcome. Here the prospective retrospective cohort. The cohort is divided into two type of data, prospective and retrospective cohort. Prospecting is nothing but current data, current scenery. We are seeing the data from the current scenery. Retrospecting is a past history of data, and also known as non-current. Using this data we doing study. That is the prospective cohort. Sorry, that is a prospective cohort and retrospective cohort. Retrospective cohort also useful for further studies. Also, retrospective cohort should be which should be included in prospective cohort, which is useful of data. Landmark. This is a great example of cohort study. Still, it is going on. 3 generation is going on. The study start from. I'm first of all saying the study title, Fraham Hall study. It was started in 1948. It is one of the paying weight to the concept of risk. It is this study give the evaluation to the concept of risk. Concept of risk study should be evolving through this study alone. Fragim Hart study. This study was started in 1948. Here the exposes major CVD risk is here the exposed factor. Here the 5,200 adults are taken from Fragim. Still the study is going on. They are the original participant. Their children, their grandchildren. This is going on till now. 3rd generation study. This study is one of the important study in cohort study. This is a great example, the parent study for all the concept of risk. Strength of cohort study. It will tell the cause effect relationship, and it also give the multiple outcome result, and also it will calculate the incident calculation, absolute risk, incident calculation, how the range measure of the risk to be explained during the incident calculation, and also it also applicable in rare exposed cases. Some rare exposed cases also it will be useful. Limitation, time and resources, because cohort study takes long time, because we are doing not cohort study for acute disease. Basically cohort done by the chronic disease, so it will take long time, and sometimes patient may be drop out. Loss of follow-up also takes place. Sometimes the patient will be missed follow-up. They are not interested in taking class. That's all. And expensive. While doing in a large manner, long duration, it also take in expensive manner. But it will be very applicable for multiple rare export, but insufficient in rare outcome, because we need a large population for rare outcome. Cohort analysis. While we doing the cohort study, the statistic analysis is very much important. While doing cohort study, there is two type of statistic analysis used. Cohort study will always measure the risk. Risk measurement should be taken by the cohort study. That is the risk ratio, or otherwise called as the relative ratio. This is nothing but we are dividing the group into incident exposed divided by incident is unexposed. We dividing the group, and we got one answer. The relative risk under the 5 type of numerical value. Below 1, above 1, equal 1. Below 2, above 2, equal to. Likewise, it have a numerical value. Where the RR value 2.5, that means that is the group have 2.5 has greater the risk than the interpretation group. Likewise, this RR value, risk ratio value is very important to calculate to measure the risk. Hazard value is also likewise same to the risk ratio. It will tell the current scenery, current incident rate of the event of the patient. rate of human current incident rate, this takes place, hazardous varies. These two are the main statistical analysis in while doing cohort study. Relative risk and hazardous risk takes place measuring the risk. Now case control study. It's like a opposite to the cohort study. While cohort start from expose, it start from outcome. That is a difference between this study. It start from outcome, and it followed by expose. Example, case control. We are selecting the case peptic ulcer patient, control non-peptic ulcer patient. This is the expose outcome. We search for the expose risk factor. What is the risk factor means? While the patient exposed to NSCD or other thing, that should be a outcome. And followed by the two group, we observe over of the time, and we come to the result. This is mainly used for rare disease. While cohort study used for the rare expose, it is used for rare disease, and it also prone to the selection bias. This is the study flow. First, we want to identify in the case with the disease and select the control without disease, and access their past expose, whether the patient exposed to NSAID or anything there we want to access, and compare the expose. Here we using is odd ratio as a statistical analysis. Case selection strategy. Here these are the four case selection strategy for case control. We are selecting case from incident, newly diagnosed patient we are selecting, and prevalent cases. Prevalent cases is already the patient having the disease we selected, but prevalent cases should be avoided. Why means it will cause the survival bias, because some patients should be died. We cannot take the account of dead people in this case. So the prevalent cases we should be avoid. Population based cases are one of the best case selection method. We will get a large population through this. And hospital based also one of the lesser thing, because while means we will get the patient only from the specific hospital alone. It not should be around geographical location. So it's also not much applicable. Cross selection control. Now we, before we see the case selection, now we're going to see about the control selection, because case selection is very easy. We will select through this kind of the thing, but control selection is very difficult. We will get the resources from the from when critical manner, so that we will get the resources from the population registry, census, or hospital non-cases where neighbor are coming take caretaker. Likewise we take friend, relative, neighborhood matching. Likewise we will include the patient in his control selection study. Here the landmark case control study is smoking and lung cancer. Its study is on 1950. Richard Doll and Ashton Forward. Here establishing the cigarette smoking causes the lung cancer. This study stated that start with the lung cancer outcome, and which will end with the exposed smoking, which around 79 cases and 79 controls takes place in London hospital. One important thing we want to say, while we selecting the case and control should be in equal manner. Not should be, it should be 700, it should be 600, not like. It should be in an equal manner. Strengthening of case control study. What are the strengths? Likewise, before I'm saying rare disease, it is very useful, and it also used for multiple exposed diseases, and it is a rapid and rapidly we done the case study, inexpensive, so it is cost effective, inexpensive. We also take the case control maximum from the existing data, likewise population history. Likewise we take the existing data. Limitation means we will likewise all the observational study, the major one is confounding and another one is selection bias. We will meet the selection bias, and also recall bias also say patient may be miscommunicate, and no incident here in cohort study the incident calculation takes place. Here there is no incident calculation. New cases should not be arrived. Old cases alone takes place. New cases cannot be takes place in case control study. Single outcome only. There's no multiple outcome like before study. It will give only single outcome. If you study smoking, it will give only to the lung cancer, not rather to the heart disease, kidney disease. It will be give only to the single study. Case control also. Here the statistical analytic method we are employing is odd ratio. Odd ratio, using this, while we using cohort incident risk ratio, we measure the risk. Here we estimate the risk. We estimating the risk, how much the decrease, the risk is increased, how much the decrease is increased. Like we estimating, taking this problem odd ratio A B C D. Like A is nothing but the patient with exposed, B is nothing but the patient with unexposed, C is nothing but the patient with unexposed but disease, D is nothing but the patient with exposed without disease. Likewise, we taking the patient. Here also the value takes place. That should be a different value 3.0. Likewise, they have a standard value. When we come 3.0 means this is higher than the odd expose of the control group. That is takes place when 3.0 is explaining the 3 times that is higher than the expose. It will tell using the EPA info. There is a lot of online tools are available, free tools are applicable. While using the odd ratio tool, we can calculate from those tools. And the last study for observational study is cross-sectional study. It will before studies they will follow a different way. This study simultaneously we assessment the expose and outcome simultaneously at the same point, single point of view. Like we access the patient. Here the cross-sectional study should be measured by single point of view. There is no follow-up take place. It will be applicable only for the while viewing the patient. We will calculating the expose and the outcome same time. We will attain to the result. These studies are very useful for surveying, census, questionnaire, interview purpose. This cross-sectional studies play a major role. This is the study flow. First of all, we want to select the definite population and sample should be collected and measure the expose and outcome at the same point of view and analyzing the result. Cross-sectional data collection. The data collection in here, we will be look on to survey, questionnaire. It also be a self-reported data collection, and we are collecting the data from biospecimen collection, blood, urine, tissue sample from digital biomarker. We collect the sample and medical record. Through the medical record, we collect the sample and also data collection also employed in physical measurement. While doing the cross-sectional study, we want to do example. If you're doing a study on obesity, it definitely do the BMI count in account. While doing the hypertension disease, we want to definitely include the height, BP in your physical measurement data collection form. So the data collection forms should be applicable upon your studies. Example, if you're taking survey means yes or no question takes place. The questionnaire is in patients having past history or yes or no type. If you collecting the biospecimen collection means that should be a lab investigation section in data collection form. Physical measurement also takes place. Likewise, the data collection should be applicable with all these things. Landmark. Here the study is still ongoing on. It is a US based study, a National Health of Nutrition Examination Survey study. This study should be takes place in different manner: survey, interview purpose, and questionnaire purpose. Likewise, they are publishing their study following every month, every 2 month gap. They are publishing their result. This is one of the ongoing study from since 1960s. Strengths of cross-sectional study. It is a very quick and economical. There is no cost efficient. It also tell multiple expose and outcome. While we examining patient, we can say multiple expose. We also employ with heart disease, kidney disease, like well, multiple expose we can take. And population also describing excellent. We can measure the population in high range. It also lead to the further research. Well, cross-sectional study can also create, due to this study, can be act as a parent article for further study. It's also helpful. Limitation of cross-sectional study is it cannot say the cause effect, which come first, which comes second. Likewise, cause effect it does not say, and selection bias as was like all the observational studies, selection bias takes place, and the prevalence incident bias also takes place. Sometimes we will over representate the patient, so it lead to the prevalence and incident bias, and limited to the rare condition, because it not takes place in rare condition disease, it's not applicable. Cross-sectional study. Here the statistical analysis is prevalence ratio. The prevalence takes place in two types: point prevalence, and another one is period prevalence. Point prevalence is nothing but we are taking the patient divided into total number of population for specific period, specific point. Sorry, specific point is a point prevalence. And period prevalence means we taking period 2005 to 2006, 2010 to 2012, specific period we are conducting the cross-sectional study. We will take place like prevalence study takes place in two types, because based upon our study it will applicable. Sometime odd ratio also take applicable in cross-sectional study. This is a design matrix of the three different study examination. I thought before I thoughting all these things are came here, forward, backward, simultaneously. The direction and rare disease is most efficient to the cause a case control study. Where while we are doing a rare disease, we are go with the case control. We are doing a rare expose, we are going with the cohort and cross sectional study. While we doing our results should be based upon multiple outcome, we will applicable to cohort and cross-sectional study. This is the matrix of the comparison while we doing the research. Another one is decentralized study. Decentralized study is nothing but you all may know about work from home. Likewise, trial from home. That is a decentralized trial. Recently, the ICH GCP ER E6 2025 update lot in decentralized trial. If you go look on it, means uh, we will we will learn lot of things from the ICH GCP E6R3, which should be published in last January 2025 alone. Likewise, decentralized trial is nothing but using digital technology and remote access. We are doing clinical trial. It's not like a traditional trial. Remotely patient visit, digital data exposed using digital technology, and it also should be a patient-centric approach takes place. This is the difference between the traditional and the decentralized study. In traditional, there should be a patient visiting is also a major on-site visit takes place, and paper-based document. There's no electronic document, paper-based document, limited geographic and region. Sometimes the patient should be from very rare place in mountain regions or from where difficult geographical location. They not come often to in-person visit. So these are the things in traditional study. But decentralized study, it's all upon virtual home from trial, remote monitoring. Data should be captured from phone itself, technology itself, it calculate. It also reach to the broader geographical location also. If the patient from uh, broader population in mountain region or some from in forest region, it is very helpful for decentralized study, remote studies takes place. What are the key component? Where key component is the digital platform. Digital, in other word, we say digital biomarker, apps, website, and there are a lot of technology based study take place in decentralized study, and it also remote monitoring, wearable sensor, digital sensor should be kept, wearable any watches, or it also applicable to apps, home based service alone, remote, and telehealth. If we have any side effect, we have experiencing any related to the study, mean we will apply it through the telephone, that is a telehealth, and direct to the patient. It also while collecting the sample, home delivery. Our CRO go there and stop go on there and collect the sample and come back to the research. There is a direct point of view to the patient, home delivery. These are the spectrum. Spectrum is nothing but ranges from 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the ranges. Spectrum is nothing but it will tell the progressive and range of the study. It range from first one indicate the full traditional, second one is a mixture of site and remote, and third one is mostly decentralized, and fourth one is fully decentralized study. This is the spectrum of the range calculate from 1 to 4. Decentralized study in cohort study, how it should be useful for cohort study. Likewise, we all recruitment the patient from digitally, and it also remote assessment alone. And it also continuous monitoring through the device, sensor, app, or something, any digital technology, digital biomarker play major role while we implementing. And patient outcome also remotely be seen through the app or so through the website, digital website we can see. Example, Apple Heart Study, it 2017 to 2019, uses of Apple smartwatch. There should be a large population takes place, 4,19,903 population takes place. It detects the atrial fibrillation using app watch. Fully digitally requirement patient, and monitoring also takes place in digital. This study is one of the great example in cohort study. And decentralized study in case control study. Likewise, digital case identification algorithm should be matched upon computer based. We are matching the people through their digital record, and it also electronic medical record ECRF takes place, and digital questionnaire form should be given to the patient for export for identifying their exports. What are the challenges in this study means the data should be inaccurate. Sometimes data should be inaccurate. That why means they are self-reporting, and self-reporting validation also inaccurate, because sometimes the value should be they inaccurately report, which will also affect the study. So their data also invalidate. And selection bias. Likewise, all the study it also takes place selection bias. Decentralized studies in cross-sectional study. Cross-sectional study is very major helpful for decentralized study, because we take the online survey very easily through the sending them email, or through their account we will take the online survey. And home testing kit, while we taking a biospecimen sample, likewise urine blood sample, we will take from home testing kit. I am do the test the patient from their home and deliver it to the local center. We will collect from that, and we will enter the result. Likewise, home testing kit is available. Remote access of physical measure, we remotely access while we putting the any sensor or like watch. It itself measure the height and weight automatically due to this physical measurement done by remote technology. These are the advantage. We will reach to the broader geographic location and reduce of cost. There is no cost. It is a cost efficient, and we will recruitment more population. Accelerated recruitment takes place. Continuous data. While means we are day to day life we are doing in current scenery. So continuous data should be takes place. Challenges. Why means what are the major challenge means if the network access is not in their place. Example, elder patient, they are not familiar with the digital technology. So these are the disadvantage takes place. And likewise, while we doing a home kit collection, their sample should be non-reactive. Sometimes their sample should be invalid, variability takes place. So data quality should be affected. And regulatory uncertainty, because the different country follow different regulatory guidelines for the decentralized study, remote access. These are the regulatory uncertainty takes place. Technology failure. Sometimes using watch, it will be failure. So the disease it will affect the studies. So the device malfunction or connectivity issue takes place. This is the case study. All of us research program is still now going. Target the National Institute of Health Precision Medicine initiate this study. Their targeted populations are 1 million plus participants. Till now they are targeting. It is also hybrid approach, online link and in-person visit both applicable, and it should be conducted on electronic health. It will integrate the electronic health record through their survey, through wearable digital technology, biospecimen, they should be integrate one to one another and creating resources. It creates the resources for thousands of studies. It will give the pay way to create a resources for doing research in case study. Here the last part is practical consideration. What are the practical consideration takes place while in observational study design? Choosing a right design. Likewise, I before said a right blueprint lead to a right research, right design. So our blueprint should be in a right manner. If we select the correct blueprint itself, we will success 50 percentage. Research question. If we are doing any research for rare expose, our research question should be based on rare expose. You go with cohort. Rare outcome, you go with case study. If you are doing any survey research, your prevalence research, you are doing any prevalence of obesity in osteoarthritis patient example, you doing means you go with the cross-sectional study. Likewise, your research question should be matched with your design. The unmatched lead to the wrong result. So your research question should be matched with the design. Next, disease characteristics. While we doing a prevalence study or we are doing a longer study, likewise, disease characteristics is very important. Doing for rare expose, what kind of the characters should be involved, or doing for rare outcome, rare multiple outcome, or multiple expose. Likewise, we want to characterizing the disease. Practical constraint. We want to, first of all, we take this as a main thing. Time, how long we are doing, what are the resources available, what are the budget, how long it should be consistently go. These are the things are the practical constraint. An analytical approach. Before we say the three analytical approach, what your approaches are going to do. You are going with our measurement of risk or with the incident risk ratio, or you are doing with prevalence, or you are doing with the odds ratio. Likewise, analytical approach is main important. While choosing this right design, you want to take account all those things into your account. And design selection framework. This is I previously said, while we are doing a rare disease, we go with case control. Rare expose, go with the cohort study. Multiple outcome, go with cohort, or otherwise go with the cross-sectional study. Multiple expose, go with case control, or otherwise go with cross-sectional study. These are the selection framework. Based upon this disease characteristic, you want to select the framework of your study design. Sample size consideration, because sample size is very much important. The precision sample which will deal with the definite sample, which will directly couple with the definite sample. So expected effective size should be determined, because if your expected effective size is lesser, means your sample should be in large manner. If your expected effective size is greater, your sample size should be in fewer, is very enough. And all the study, there should be a statistical power, so also typically based on 80 to 90. Based upon your power, your statistical analytical should be takes place. Significant level, all the study it should be 0.05 alone. And also, while doing a sample size consideration, background rate also we want to take, because while doing a rare disease, the patient requirement is very much important. So background rate also we want to take a key in while doing a sample size consideration. While sample size consideration, there also have a 5 question. What are the primary outcome? The sample size depend upon what your primary outcome and what are the disease outcome you are concentrating. These are the things that takes place while we selecting the sample size consideration. Other thing is technique. There are also technique. Do how your primary outcome you are choosing, that should be compile with your sample technique. There is a different sample technique. According to the sample size consideration alone, we will employ with the sample technique. While we doing research, some may be drop out from the research, some may be relief from the research. That kind of the things and all, you want to do the adjustment, sample adjustment you want to do, because you want to tally the definite sample size from that. So These are during that time you want to adjust the sample. This is the rule of thumb. While we are doing the cohort, the 1,000 of the subjects should be takes place. While doing the case control, at least 100 of the cases should be included. While doing the cross-sectional study, 1,000 of the subjects should be included in your study. Here the confounding, beginning itself I am saying confounding is a important thing while doing observational study. We want to control this confounding. We fail to control the confounding, lead to the wrong result and wrong research question. Confounding is a hidden risk factor. We will missing this risk factor while doing research. So we want to control the confounding using these three types design phases. First of all, matching. While doing the research, we want to match the population according to the age and sex, gender. We want to match and restricted. If you matching the population regarding to 40 to 60 means you include the patient 40 to 60 only. Other patients should be restricted from the study. And it is randomizely not applicable for observation study. It should be on experimental study. You take the matching and restriction. It's it applicable in observational study and data collection. All the data collection should be in a consistent manner. While collecting data collection, the miss data collection or mispronunciation, miscommunication should be avoided, which lead to the success of controlling the confounding. And another one is analyzing the patient. After we matching restriction, stratifying the patient into subgroup. We want to stratifying the patient into subgroup and multi subgroup. And another analytical basis is multivariable regression. Multivariable regression is nothing but multiple confounding factors are take place: age, sex. Example, air pollution is influenced by air pollution causes lung cancer. Here the multiple confounding factors are what? Age, sex, pollution, and SEE, social economic status. So these are the four things are multiple variable. So we want to look on this multiple variable regression and we want to avoid and adjust that things. Is a multiple variable regression. Propensity score is a probability score of occurring while doing the research. The imbalance confounding should be balanced by propensity score. Director acyclic graph. It is the one of the visual tool to controlling the confounding. Using this tool, we will controlling the confounding using it is like a not it is not like a cyclic manner. It should be in a loop. The nodes takes place. Here the nodes. This nodes takes place expose incident rate, and here the arrow indicating the point of the time that takes place in confounding factor in the research. Sorry, research. These tool help our research to be sufficient to adjust the extra confounding factor. It helps to over adjust. Sometimes we will use collider bias takes place. Using this DAG, we will avoid the collider bias. The collider bias is nothing but we are doing study to the exercise health benefit. Here the collider bias is exposes. Likewise here is the exposes joint injury. While we take the joint injury alone to our bias means which will give the wrong result to the research question. So it will help to avoid the collider bias while doing the research, and also it will give the causal pathway for cause effect different between different variable. It also give the causal pathway. So the direct acyclic graph tool is very important while doing the observational study. These tools help us to adjust the confounding and also help us to over avoiding the collider bias. It also takes place, helpful to avoid these kind of the things. And another one is we previously said in analytical base propensity score. The propensity score is nothing. Score method is nothing but we are doing research. Will expose and unexpose imbalancedly the co-founding factors should be distributed. So using this method, we are balancing the confounding equally. So calculating from the calculating score and applying that method, likewise before I'm saying matching, starting and dividing them, and weighting is nothing but an underrepresented patient. Some patients should be in some group underrepresented. So we giving more weightage to that person and check the and verify the covariative distribution. And at last, after we calculating the score and applying the method, after applying method, we checking whether the confounding is equally balanced. We were verifying that, and after finally we estimating the effect of the propensity score. This is the main important thing while doing applying controlling confounding factor. The propensity score method is a important method while applicable in observational study. Addressing missing data. While doing that, missing data also takes place. So complete case analysis takes place. While we doing a one patient, you want to completely analyzing the full data. You should not be mismatch or miscommunicate or misinterpret data. So complete analysis of the patient should be takes place using the MCR. MCR is nothing but missing completely at random. This is the one of the missing data method while applicable in complete case analysis. And another one thing is multiple imputation. We creating the database, likewise electronic CRF, likewise we are creating and entering the data like day-to-day life. So it will be easy to avoid the missing data. Inverse probability weighting. Likewise, sometimes some patients should be underrepresented. So we will observe that patient and we will give the represented and weightage to the patient addressing that. And sensitivity analysis, while doing this analysis, the missing data should be in a different manner. Different manner should be takes place while doing analyzing method, odd ratio likewise we doing that method. It will be take also some odd ratio should be also takes place in missing variable also employ on that. So this is also one of the important things in sensitivity analysis. Here the reporting guidelines. There are 3 reporting guidelines takes place: strobe, record, and report. Strobe is one of the important thing in case control, cohort, and observational study. Like observational study, cohort, case control, cross-sectional study. The strobe is mainly important. Why mean it will give the checklist. It will easy for researchers to verify in their research. While we doing the research, the reporting guidelines are these things. These help to verify the research while the research going in a correct way. Any missing component takes place. Likewise, it takes place. Same likewise strobe. It is a extensive of the strobe is a record. Likewise, observing the data. Here we verifying the database whether the data is should be correctly entered. Any mismatch take place. Any data should be omitted. Any data should be avoided. This is the guideline for that. And report is nothing but it is applicable for when we doing model study, chronic model study, acute model study. Likewise, we doing model study, we want to predict the model. So that kind of the things report play a major role. Ethic in observational study. All the observational study, the ethic is very much important. We want any study we are doing, we give the informed consent form to the patient. That is very much important. Well, the research should be in a right manner, in an ethical manner. We want to give the informed consent form to the and their data should be in privacy and confidential. That also include in informed consent form. And equally, inclusion takes place in a right manner. Exclusion also takes place in right manner. In a ethic manner, we want to done ensuring the ethically the patient should be inclusion in the subject in the research. Likewise, takes place and data sharing. Data sharing should be how It should be a transparency with the privacy protection. The data where should be absorbed, where should be taken, that should be a transparency manner. But we also at the same time we also maintain the privacy protection. These are the future things, future direction in observational study. Likewise, AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, which will help to automatically typing automatically, including the patient using in decentralizing trial, the AI and machine learning takes place very importantly. And federal study is nothing but multi-trial study. Likewise, multi-site analysis we are taking in future, and advanced digital biomarker, using advanced digital biomarker like sensor, not only in watches app, likewise in a different advanced manner, chips chip, like we are taking future direction. And multiple omic, we are integrating the omic data, genomic, proteomic. Likewise, we integrating the data which will use for doing some research in personalized medicine. There's are takes place. These are the takeaway. In final, you will know about the design selection, how is critical and how will be do done, and all we will learn all about the strength and limitation. Yes, all the studies have strength and limitation. We also know the strength and limitation. First of all, while doing the research, we will first of all look onto the strength and limitation, and how in this slide you will able to know the how bias should be management, how should be confounding should be controlled, and what are the decentralized study, and how it should be in current scenery. Your should be learned from this slide. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Sriharan. So
Thank
we
you.
have got couple of questions in the audience. So first is, how do we decide whether to use a coherent study or a case control study for a particular research question?
Yeah, depending upon your research question. Why I'm saying means, if a cohort study we are going means, you studying related to any rare expose, or you are studying any rare expose means you go with cohort study. If you are going with case control study means you are doing any research related to the rare outcome, or rare outcome disease status you are going means you go with the case control study.
Okay, thanks. Next is, how do researchers choose between coherent, case control, and cross section design?
Yeah, depending upon your research question, the researchers choose the which is applicable to their study. They will choose the design, which design is suitable for their research. Likewise, if you are doing a cross-sectional study, means you go with your any doing the prevalence of the study means you go with cross-sectional study. Your study should be based upon the concept of risk means you go with cohort study. Your study is based upon what I'm saying, estimating the risk, estimate the risk means you will go with your cross-sectional study. Observation.
Okay, thanks. And
In
the next
observation.
question from Anurag is, in observational studies, how do you find the data collected from any source is biased or not biased? So any data which
Yeah,
you get in the observational study, how do you
yeah,
find that?
sometimes in our data collection form, we will see the selected population should be in our favorable result purpose. If I am doing a study in osteoarthritis means I'm taking the patient related to that study itself, a major patient. If my population size is 60 means I'm taking 40 to 50 range from the same population. So it will be look into the selection population. And also when we deep look onto the study, if study depend upon predisposing risk factor, likewise the study takes place means we easily analyze the what is the confounding missing, what is confounding missing in data. We easily identify. So these are the bias should be easily identified.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sriharan. It was very nice and nicely explained about all the different types of observational studies.
Thank you,
So
sir.
thank you for that. And tomorrow we will continue with finding the gaps in herbal and nutraceutical clinical evidences. So Dr. Sriharan will be here tomorrow at the same time, and he will help us to understand that how we can find the gaps for the evidence, clinical evidences in herbal and nutraceuticals. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you all for joining.